I cannot watch my old projects right now. I don't mind sharing it. Let other people watch it. Let other people feel how they feel about it. I don't want to watch it. My name is Shania Vanson, and I have been a filmmaker for the past 11 years, and I have been a full-time director, writer, and producer for going on 3 years now. Another thing that is very, very important about what this first project is going to teach you, it's how to define your vision. Now, I'm specifically speaking to my directors and my writers here, the people who are really coming up with the vision of this story, right? The producers are amazing, but they're the ones putting those things together. The people who are at the starting ground of this project, which are our writers and our directors, this first project is going to teach you how to refine and define your voice and your vision. For the writers, you are going to see through the execution of this first project what needs and needs not to be included in your story going forward. I experience this often where first-time writers or writers who are experienced but not experienced in actually getting their projects produced, they never actually get to see visually what reads on camera, right? They understand it because they understand story, but understanding story is different than understanding what will be communicated on camera. When you are a director writer, you have the blessing of being able to kind of see both, but sometimes we also need that definement and refinement. However, for the writers, there are going to be things that you want to highlight and identify within your story, but when you are actually refining and defining your vision and then understanding what that looks like in a produced capacity, saying a lot of words here, aren't I? Hear that again. When you are actually refining and defining your vision and understanding what that means in a produced capacity, understanding what that means when the camera gets rolling, when things go into post-production, you will then see that not everything needs to be in every script. Certain things that you will write that feel like they flow in the story can actually be taken away from the story, but you won't know that until you have actually produced a project because it feels good on paper. It doesn't always feel the same watching it. So you need to produce your first project to learn that lesson. And for our directors, you as a director are building your voice. Okay, you're building your vision. Every director has their own stylistic choice. Every director has their own branding, their own visual branding. You won't know what that is until you kind of play with certain things. I myself have projects that I feel like are a bit all over the place visually because I was trying to find, refine, and define my brand voice, what my visual branding was as a director. I had an idea of it, but there were certain things I wanted to try to see if that also can be incorporated. And some of them don't, and some stay, some go. But that is all a part of developing your brand voice. That's all a part of developing your visual language and understanding what you look for as a director, what your eye sees visually. And that all comes from getting your reps in, doing more projects. But that first project will really tell you whether or not you're going into the right direction or if you're just kind of bouncing around everywhere. If you are a person and you look at your first project and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm an amazing mastermind and I'm the best at this, kudos to you, but you're probably not being honest with yourself. Okay, I cannot watch my old projects right now. I don't mind sharing it. Let other people watch it. Let other people feel how they feel about it. I don't want to watch it because I know the person who I was when I made that project is not the person who I am now. I am more defined. I am more refined right now. But it took me doing that first project to learn. And lastly, I'm going to speak to my directors here and my producers too, but specifically my directors. The thing that first project will teach you is how to pivot. If you ever tell me that you did your first project and it had no hiccups at all, you know what? Claps to you, amazing producer, God's favorite, claps for you. But it's rare. I've never heard it. I've never heard it once. I've never experienced it. There is always a hiccup on a production, some form of a hiccup, right? But you as a filmmaker who will continue to grow, need to learn the art of the pivot. The pivot is so important because there's going to be times where a wrench is thrown into your day and you cannot throw away the other however umpteen plus hours that come after that because of one hiccup. You have to learn how to pivot. As a director, you have to learn how to pivot your vision. You may not be able to get all your shots. You may not be able to get certain stylistic choices. You may not be able to get all your camera movements. You may not even be able to get all your setups. So you have to learn how to capture the story in whatever time frame you have. And then producers, you need to learn how to make sure that you capture all the scenes within the time that you have and organize your following days to follow suit. You cannot throw away everything because of one hiccup, because I promise you, it won't just be that one hiccup. You're going to experience multiple hiccups on multiple different sets, and they're all going to look look different. They're all going to look different. They're never going to look the same. Maybe they might look the same because a location falls through, but most of the time it's going to look a bit different because that location may not be the same on this project as it was on the last project. Doing that first project is going to prepare you for that. It's going to prepare you to not freak out. It's going to prepare you to understand, oh, problem, pivot, not problem, shut down. When it comes down to doing your first project, do not go in with the expectation that you are about to be Martin Scorsese after it. Do not go in with the expectation that after this first short film, you are now going to get a feature film funded and somebody's going to hand you millions of dollars to make it. You have to work hard and you have to continue to grow within this industry. And that only comes from doing multiple projects and building up your voice, your vision, and your ability to do this line of work. But it all starts with doing your first project.